Welcome back. So today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make a single crochet. Since the single crochet is one of the very first stitches you learn in crocheting, I wanted to go over a few things to give you a better handle of what to see and what to expect going forward. And I'm actually going to do this with paper because once you see it on paper, it'll make much more sense when you actually do it with the hook and yarn. So the first thing you need to know with the crochet stitch itself, this single crochet, it can be done in any foundation chain number. So you'll see most patterns, you'll see on top, it'll tell you foundation chain. And I'm going to explain this to you so this makes sense to you. It'll tell you the foundation chain can be any number. So they'll write out number. I just did the number sign. So they'll tell you that because like you'll look at certain stitches that'll say it'll be a multiple of 2 plus 1, multiple of whatever. So you're gonna have a lot of different things like that, but we're not gonna go over that now. I'm just letting you know for a single crochet, you can do this in any amount of chains. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be even or a plus or anything like that. So that's the first thing to understand with the single crochet. The next thing is, I'm writing this out so you understand, because when you see it on paper, you'll usually see it written out as the abbreviation SC. So single crochet would be the abbreviation SC. And also, sometimes some of these older patterns, you'll see, not older patterns, but some of the pattern designers will actually also give you a chart with it. And the chart symbol for a single crochet, in the old days, it used to be an X. So the X would be the single crochet symbol. Now, with the new standards, most of the pattern writers that are actually adding charts to it will give you the little plus symbol. So that's very important to know, because what I'm going to show you here is going to make total sense. So you're going to actually have this training is going to be really cool for you, because you're going to see it written out in a chart form and actually how I explain it to you, and you can see it with the hook and yarn in just a few moments. The next thing you need to know in this particular training is the word chain. So chain is written out as CH, and you know we got videos that tell you about the chain, but you'll see the chain in action. This will make total sense for you. So the chain is the next thing, and the symbol for the chain is an oval. So it looks like a little circle, but it's an oval. Again, I'm going to show you some demonstrations, and my drawing skill isn't the greatest. So as long as you understand that particular symbol is the oval. And you'll also need to know, you'll hear the terminology loops, and you'll see the abbreviation for loops as LP or LPS. The next thing you'll hear me talk about is yarn over. So you'll hear me mention that. And again, the reason why I'm telling you this is because this will make sense to you when you start reading patterns out. You'll hear people say how many loops on the hook, or you know, how many chains. That's why I'm doing this right now. So now that you actually have the understanding of this particular part of it, let's go ahead and show you on paper here. We're going to do 10 chains, and then we're going to do 10 single crochet stitches. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is actually open up another screen here and show you this. So the starting point, let's just say the starting point for our particular stitch, we're going to do 10. Let's say this is the starting point. Usually it's a symbol that looks like a little arrow. Again, I'm not the best person with drawing. And we're going to do 10 chains to begin with. So you're going to have 10 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now that you understand it's 10 chains, since we're going to do 10 chains, the height. So this is going to be really important. The height of a single crochet is 1 chain high. So when we talk about, when you hear someone says how tall is the post or how tall is the chain, they're referring to, or how tall the stitch is, how many chains high the stitch is. For a single crochet, it's only 1. I'll show you later with the half double, it's 2. With the double crochet, it's 3 chains. Treble crochet is 4 chains high. So this particular one, it's only going to be 1. And I'm going to change the color here because this, you'll see here in a second. So once we did our chain, the 10 chain, you're going to have to chain 1 more, and that 1 more is going to be the actual single crochet itself. So we're going to chain 1, and I'm actually showing you this is going upward. This is where you're actually going to have your single crochet is going to be done in this particular spot. But now that I want you to show you, so like let's pretend we just did 10 chains or 11. So this spot up here would be where our hook is. So our hook would be in this little, again, I'm not the best drawer. Let's just pretend like this is our crochet hook right here. So that's our crochet hook, and it's in this little loop. So we don't count the one that's on the loop as the chain. So for order to us to do the next single crochet, we're going to go 2 chains back. So this would be the first chain. This would be the second chain. So we're going to be putting our hook into the second chain from our hook that's on the loop right now. So this will be the spot you're going to be placing your hook in. So you're going to be putting it into this right here. So now that you understand that, let me go ahead and delete this remove this here. So now that you can see this, and let me go ahead and add another circle. So remember, this is where we chain. I'm going to do it, actually change the color. I'm going to do this so you can see like we chained. So that's going to be the chain, and then this is where your single crochet is. So that this part right here is technically the same as this right here. So the chain, that's the 11th, that's going to be your single crochet, and then we're just going to go forward and just keep on single crocheting into the rest of these all the way across. So we're going to do 10 of these here. And then now that you have your 10, again, we want to go to the next row. And to go to the next row, you have to go up as tall as the chain is, and as tall as the stitch is. And remember, we just said the stitch height for a single crochet is only 1 chain high. So you're going to be chaining 1, and then you're going to be going ahead and putting in your single crochet into the single crochet, or the single crochet that was below that. So chain 1, single crochet into this spot, and just keep on going across. So now that you know that, and I'm going to show you this on paper, this will make sense. And then once you get to your 10th one, if you decide to go up further, you want to do a little more, you would chain another one and then continue the process going forward all the way until you get to the other end. So the way that this works here is you start off on the bottom. You start off on the bottom here, and you're going to go this direction, and that's going to be your foundation chain. So now that you've done that here, this section here where you see all these crochets, the single crochet, that is row 1. So that's row 1. And then once you get to the end on this side over here, you chain 1, and then you go single crochet. This is going to be row 2. And then next thing here is once you get to this spot here, this would be row 3. So that's really important. Again, I try to give you as much information as I can on paper so that way you understand exactly where the stitch goes into the chain. So remember, you did 10 plus 1, and then where the loop was here, we actually go into the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2. So this is the spot. That's really important. And now let's go ahead and actually show you it on with the actual hook and yarn. Okay, so now that you saw it in the actual written format, let me show you with the swatch here and show you this with the hook and yarn. What I'm showing you right now is important because you're going to understand when I talked about how high a stitch is, and that's going to make the difference so you understand why we're chaining 1 and versus how many chains we have to go up. So this particular swatch here at the bottom, this is single crochet, and what I've done was I chained 1 and then I did my single crochet. So the height of the single crochet here is only going to be 1 chain high. So I did 3 single crochets. And then the next one here is going to be a half double crochet, and that I had to do 2 chains high to make this one. Then we had the double crochet was 3 chains high, and then for a treble we had to chain 4 chains to make that height. So now you can see in relevance between each other. So the single crochet is only 1 chain, the half double is 2, the double is 3, and then we have the treble, which is 4. So that's important for you to know, because now that we're going to show you here, we're gonna do 5 single crochets, and I'm actually gonna do this with we're gonna just do 5 just to make it really quick and easy for you to know. So let's start off here, and what I'm gonna do is chain 5. So 1, all right. So now that you have your 5 chains, so you can see here the little V's. So every V is considered a chain. So you can see here we have, make sure I get you a better view of this. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 chains. Now that you have your 5 chains, we have to chain 1 more to get our height. Remember I told you earlier the height of our single crochet? And then if you remember from the diagram, I showed you the one that you have on the hook. So remember I said, once you have the one on your hook, you're gonna have to go back two chains back. So again, this is the first chain, that's the second chain. So this is where you wanna place your hook into, so the second chain. So we're gonna go ahead and skip the first one, go to the second one here. And then now what you're gonna do is yarn over, pull this through, and here you'll have 2 loops on your chain. And you want to make sure you're at the right part so you're gauged. So I like to make this a little bit loose here. And then you want to do is yarn over and pull through 2. So that is your very first single crochet. And now what you want to do is go into the next spot. So the next hole, And the very first foundation chain, it might be a little tough, so you can use your fingers and, you know, pull it through if you need to. So pull through, yarn over. And again, I like to give it a little bit of length here, a little bit of height. And then I pull through 2. Go through the next one. Yarn over, pull through. And again, this is going to look all a little weird at first because it's going to be all bundled up, but it's okay. Once you get past the first 2 rows, it's going to look a lot nicer. So again, I give it a little height here so I can pull it through with, you know, make it a little bit easier. And we're just going to continue along until we finish all the way to the end. A little bit of height, yarn over, pull through both. So I got 2 more to go here. So again, sometimes you get to do this, we can actually use your finger. So this is actually the last one right here. And if I don't know if it's the last one, yarn over, I'm going to count. So I'll show you how to count this too. So go ahead and yarn over, give it a little height here, pull through 2. So I'm going to count how many V's I have right now, and the V's will tell me how many chains I have. So looking right now, I have 1 V, so this is the first V right here, second, third, fourth, fifth. So I have 5 chains on here. Now, one thing I want to tell you to do as well, since this is the very first one, you remember this is the spot we have here. Anytime you're first starting out learning how to crochet, I would tell you stitch markers, stitch markers, stitch markers. So go ahead and place this into the first chain. Again, it's that first little loop you have there. So underneath the both stitches, that is your very first one. So now you remember you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're at the 5th one. If I need to go any further, the pattern might tell you to go ahead and do the next row. So the next row, you have to chain 1 more, because again, we're talking about the height. So remember, single crochet, you chain only 1 because that's the height. So I just wanted to mention a few other things while we're going. So it's much information I can give you right now. It's going to make your journey a lot easier. So remember, this is something new. So this is going to be considered the right side of your pattern. This is going to be the wrong side of your pattern. So right now that you have this, I've chained 1, and now what we're going to do is turn our work over. So all I'm doing is just turning it over. I'm keeping the working yarn in the back of my hook. So now from this point, the difference between the very first row and this row is the first row you had to chain into the second. We had to stitch into our second chain. This one we're going to actually stitch into our first stitch. So this little hole you see right here, again, if you look at the stitches, I'm going to show you again. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to actually put our crochet hook into the very first stitch, which is this V right here. So that's where we want to place it. So turn it back over again, and I know that's that first hole there. So put it through both of those, put it underneath both of the V shape right there, put underneath both there, and then we pull it through, give myself a little bit of height, and pull through both. Yarn over and pull through 2. So again, the next one over, pull it, put it between the 2 little V there, yarn over, pull through 2, give myself a little height, and just continue doing this. Got a couple more here to go. Pull it through the V, put it underneath the V there, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, right there, pull through 2, sorry, a little bit faster. And this is the very last one. So this is the last stitch, because remember this is what the stitch marker was, so we don't have to worry about counting because of the fact that we knew that where we were. So yarn over, and then we're going to pull through 2 here. So that is it. That is completing your first one. So now the next thing we're going to do is actually, if we have to do another row, again, remember we talked about the height. So let me give myself some more yarn here. Give myself a little bit more yarn and back in action. So get this back in view. So if we want to do the next row, I like to go ahead and chain 1 and then turn my work over. And then from here, go to the very next stitch. Remember, this is the little V. We're going to go underneath the V, yarn over, have 2 loops, pull through 2. And this one, I'm going to do another one just because I want to tell you, remember we talked about telling you as a beginner to use stitch markers. Pull through underneath there, have 2 on your hook, give yourself a little bit of height, yarn over, pull through 2. And what I want you to see right now is we have 2 stitches. So you can see the V's. You're going to place, let me go ahead and grab another stitch marker here. Got all kinds of stitch markers. So definitely, you got them, use them. Don't be afraid to use them. So this would be where I'm placing
get focus. This is where you would put your next stitch marker. Go underneath this little section right here. So again, use your stitch markers. They're going to come in handy. They're your friends. Don't forget, use your stitch markers. So there you go. You've just learned how to do a single crochet. I've tried to give you as much information as I could, so that way going forward, you actually understand abbreviations, you understand what to do. We have more videos just like this, so make sure you go ahead and subscribe to our channel, because we got a lot more tutorials that you're going to love, and thank you for watching.